Good evening, everybody. It's Tuesday night. So it's Tuesday Night Devos with Rebecca. I don't know if you saw what the topic is for tonight or not, but I'm just going to show you right now. So that is the reason for the picture that I had attached on the Facebook Live notification for this. And every time I hear this phrase, I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. It reminds me of the Madagascar movie, the animated movie. And it's a real foot thumping, kind of clapping kind of song that gets you moving at least a little bit, even if you don't have a lot of rhythm and if you don't really like music. I dare you to listen to it and not move at least a toe. Anyway, you might be wondering why I made that the title for this evening. So I will tell you. Let's get into it. Last week, I touched on transcendent peace and how we can get ourselves into a state of transcendent peace by fixing our eyes on Jesus. And now I want to kind of take a piece of this story that I mentioned last week and talk a little bit about, actually, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more on the Insta. Oh, no, it's not working, so I'm not going to fuss with it. I want to take it from a different point of view and talk about the story of Peter walking on water with Jesus, and how we can get stuck in fear. So let's just dive into it. I know it's evening and I don't want to get long-winded, but just want to leave you some thoughts as you end your day and start your wind down for the night. And contemplate your day that you had today and what you have coming up in your day for tomorrow. So when Jesus was walking towards the boat, and Peter said to him, can I come out to you? So Jesus encouraged him. He said, yes, come. So I want to read that little excerpt from Matthew 14, and this is the Message version. So I'll put it on the screen here. Matthew 14 from 29 to 30, actually. Peter, suddenly bold, said, Master, if it's really you, call me to come to you on the water. Jesus said, come ahead, come ahead. So jumping out of the boat, Peter walked on the water to Jesus. But when he looked down at the waves churning beneath his feet, he lost his nerve and started to sink. He cried, Master, save me. And then in verse 31, Jesus didn't hesitate. He reached down and grabbed his hand. Then he said, faint heart, what got into you? I can just imagine, when we do silly things as children and our parents put their hands down to help us get up and they say, what were you thinking? What got into you? So that, that's the kind of picture that comes into my head. Hey, Darren, good to see you. And I just wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. Peter started to think. And when he started to think, he started to sink. He took his eyes. He was initially looking at Jesus. And then all of a sudden the fear gripped him. And he started to look around and see the waves and how he couldn't imagine that he would be able to walk on the water. He looked at his feet amongst the waves. And that and isn't it interesting that when he said to Jesus, "Can I come out on the water?" To join him on these adventures that we in our own abilities cannot do. Why? Does he want us to fail? Does he want to mock us? No. He wants to allow him to give us his strength so that we can do these things that are just outside of our normal abilities. And so, knowing full well that Peter, as long as he kept his eyes on him, he would be able to walk on the water. Jesus said, "Yeah, come on, join me, join me." Isn't that cool? Like, I really think that is so neat when we think about that. And so it brings the thoughts to my mind to ask you, hey, I'm going to say, hey, T Loves Gray, Noah, Grayson and Noah. I know who you are, Tasha. Good to see you. So it makes me think, are you being nudged to take a step of faith that maybe you are pushing back against? Something that is taking you out of your comfort zone? We often can feel little nudges in directions that we should be going, and we don't always take those steps of faith. And Ark and the Last Crusade, when they're going into the very last step of the temple, or not the temple, but where the knight is, and they have to literally take steps in what is completely complete air. There is no bridge, but they have to take the steps, and as their foot lands on the step or in front of them, it does land on a step for the bridge that takes them to where they need to go. And that is really what we have to do, is we have to take those steps of faith. So the kind of answer to this question of how do we do this, we can see it in a number of different areas in the Bible. I've just pulled out just a couple of excerpts. So I will just want to bring that to light. So in 2 Chronicles chapter 20, we have the Israelites, and they are being attacked by the Ammonites and the Moabites and Mount Seir, I think, which must have been another tribe of sorts. And they were all attacking the Israelites. So in 2 Chronicles chapter 20, I'll start in verse 12 from the NIV version. We see how they are repaying us by coming to drive us out of the possession you gave us as an inheritance. So the Israelites are talking to God. They're saying, look, these guys are coming after us. Look what they're doing. They're taking our inheritance that you promised, the promised land. They're taking from us. Our God, will you not judge them? For we have no power to face this vast army that is attacking us. We do not know what to do, but our eyes are on you. And I find the Israelites were afraid for their lives. They were literally under attack by enemy peoples, but they responded with, "Our eyes are on you," to God, looking to God for his strength, for his direction, for his protection, because he's provided protection to them all these years after the big exodus from Egypt. And, they're in the promised land, and life is still not easy. And isn't that the way it is for us? Life is still not easy, but God gives us protection. So I want to encourage you with the words from Isaiah. The book of Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, is one of my favorites. There's so many verses in Isaiah that really are, I think, appropriate for these days, these times, and they speak to me a lot. But this one in particular is the 41st chapter of Isaiah. And it's Isaiah, chapter 41, verses 8 to 10. And I really liked the way that the Message speaks about this or relates these verses. It really, really speaks to me. "But you, Israel, are my servants." So this is now God talking to Israel at this time. "You are Jacob, my first choice, descendants of my good friend. My good friend Abraham. I pulled you in from all over the world, called you in from every dark corner of the earth, telling you, my servant, serving on my side. I've picked you. I haven't dropped you." And this is the kicker right here. "Don't panic. I'm with you. There's no need to fear, for I'm your God. I'll give you strength. I'll help you. I'll hold you steady. Keep a firm grip on you." Wow. I just want to say that again. God is telling us, when we have given ourselves to him, when we are looking to him, "You're my servant, serving on my side." So serving beside me, in other words. "I've picked you. I haven't dropped you. I haven't left you. Don't panic. Keep cool, keep calm. I'm with you. There's no need to fear, for I'm your God. I will give you strength. I'll help you. I'll hold you steady and keep a firm grip on you." Now, he proves this time and time and time again in the Bible. He uses people that in their own weaknesses would not have been able to do very much. I think of Moses, who really, he was a stutterer, and God made him such an amazing representative of the Israelites, to speak to the Pharaoh of Egypt, to speak to the Israelites, to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. He uses King David, who conspired to have Bathsheba's husband Uriah, who was loyal to King David, who conspired to have Uriah killed. So in those terms, he was a murderer in that sense. He used Simon Peter, who was a major hothead and could not control his anger. Jesus, on numerous occasions, told Peter to cool it, to calm down. Remember in the Garden of Gethsemane, Simon Peter cuts off the guard's ear, and Jesus puts it back after rebuking Peter for his anger. The list goes on and on. We've got Mary Magdalene, who was an adulteress. We've got Matthew, who was the tax collector, and like the low used all of these people and so many more in the Bible alone. But he used all of these people in such an amazing way. And I just want to encourage you, because if he can use them in their weaknesses, he can use you in your weaknesses. And he can make you strong through his strength. So don't let yourself get stuck in indecision or immobile because you're stuck in your own thoughts, in your own weaknesses. Don't let yourself feel like you are not able to do anything, because if you lean on him, he will give you the strength. We've just read it, right? He will give you strength. He will hold you steady. He will have a firm grip on you and keep you upright, basically, is what that means. Not a firm grip at the back of the neck, forcing you in one direction or another. No, he gives us free will, but he will give us a firm grip under our elbows and keep us upright so that we can do what we are trying to do, to honor him and to follow his lead. So don't let yourself get stuck in that indecision. If you feel that you are being nudged in a direction of doing something, I encourage you to take that step of faith and to trust his word and believe that you should not panic, that he is with you. He is by your side, and you have no need to fear, because he will give you the strength and he will help you and keep you steady. So one last thought: our God is able. He is so able. And if he used these people, he can use you. So let him shift you, let him nudge you, let him move you to where you can be used by him, and give him glory, and even grow even stronger and closer to him in your faith and your relationship with him. So those are my little thoughts tonight. Hey, Arlene, so good to see you. Good to see you too, Janet. Thanks, Darren. Hey, Agnes. I just hope that gives you some food for thought as you end your evening. And, just remember those words. Those words are so true. He will hold you, he will keep you, and he will help you. I hope you have a wonderful night and a great sleep and an even better tomorrow. And be blessed. Take care.